Dothan Commission incumbents announced their re-election bid this morning. Let's start in District 5, where Gant Pierce publicly revealed he's looking for a second term. Now, Pierce is an attorney first elected back in 2021. He believes his strongest point is listening to others.
And I hope to continue that. I've always told them I'm their mouthpiece to City Hall, and it's very, very important that I take that seriously, and I have, and I will continue to do that in a second term.
Bradley Bedwell is seeking his second term. He defied the odds 4 years ago when he defeated a longtime incumbent. District 3 is the southeast portion of Dothan, which has seen growth during Bidwell's tenure.
One of my campaign promises was to get industry into this area. Well, Smart Lamb, Peak Renewables are in District 3, which is absolutely amazing, and Amazon is next door. My overall goal was to serve my district, but try to make every single person's lives better.
And yet another announcement this morning came from David Crutchfield. First elected in 2016, he represents District 6, which is the northwest part of town. Among other appointments, Commissioner Crutchfield serves on the Visit Dothan board that bolsters the city's growing tourism industry.